Hey guys, it's me, Mackie, and today we are going to go over using Unity Starter Assets. If you go into the Asset Store, you can look up the Starter Assets Character Controller. It is a URP package, and this will give us something to import into our levels. We'll get an actual character. We'll get a player controller set up for him. We'll get some architectural levels and stuff set up for us so that we can start prototyping out what our character can do. Basically, just a testing playground. So, again, it's a URP package, so we're going to want to set up a URP project. So we're going to go new project. I'm still using 2022.3.33F1. This time we're going to set up Universal 3D so that we can set up our URP settings. We'll say Starter Assets. Again, I have it already created. You won't, so you'll create that project. You don't have to connect to the Unity Cloud for this particular project. And for us, I will just bring that project back up. And now you'll have a blank, empty project that we have with the Babylon Toolkit is already set up in here, but basically you would just drag this package into it to set up the toolkit. It does a lot of importing of the file, so I went ahead and done that for us just for the sake of the video. Now, just like the other project, we want to give our initial settings. So we're going to go Project Settings. And in our player is where we can set up our name. So I will set up Mackie Greinert, and we will, I like to put a space between that little descriptive field there. And we're already on linear. On our quality, we're using URP now, so you kind of set the settings a little bit differently. This is set for high fidelity, so we'll just click that to select our high fidelity setting over here. And then down here we can disable the reflection pro blending option, just like we did in the last version, and we'll put our Babylon friendly shadow depth BIOS values in here. So that's 0.15, and the normal bias is just 0. Now there is our setup. We're going to create our same folder system that we used before. So we will create a folder for project, actually singular, not plural. We'll create another folder called plugins. This is where all of our third-party assets will go. And in our project folder, we're going to create another folder called lighting. So we can set up our default lighting, and we'll just at least create one material called materials. And in here, we will create one material for our Amiga texture. And we'll set the base map for Amiga texture. And in our lighting, so we'll go to lighting, and since we have none, we'll create our new default lighting. And we will use default. Default lighting is going to use subtractive. We're going to use a GPU. We don't need these. We'll keep it at 1K maps. We'll select no compression because we don't need it. And non-directional. Now we're going to want to set up the assets themselves from the asset manager, or from the project manager. So we'll go to Windows, go to Package Manager. After you selected the starter assets on the asset store, it gives you the option to add it to your assets. So you should be able to find it in your assets in the package manager. We'll look for starter. Here's our starter. Now we're going to want to import. Now it's asking us to upgrade our packages. We're going to want to say yes, because we want our source Unity package or source Unity project to be up to par, so that the scene that has all of our content in it will be fully functional, and then we can export from it. This particular asset uses the new input control system. So like we have here, we have to select it, and it's going to make us restart our editor. It's going to re-import a bunch of, let's just say save. here so we don't lose our work. We're going to re-import a bunch of assets and start the project all over again. So we have to give it a couple of minutes to catch up here. Let's see. That's just some of the things you have to go through when setting up new projects in Unity. Sometimes you have to do some settings that cause it to reload the entire Unity experience or the editor. When we come back, we were in the middle of an actual package update. So when we return there, it will continue there. So we still have to come back because all we did was upgrade some packages last time. And now we'll import again. It'll ask us to install or upgrade. This time it'll be real quick and it'll pop right into our asset loader. So I'm just going to double click the all and click import. Now we are bringing in all of the prototyping geometry, character controllers, first-person controllers, third-person controllers. We're going to be using the third-person controller as well as the character controller and the animation controller. That's one of the advantages that you do get of using the ecosystems. We're going to export everything out as GLTF and including some of the pro data. Now we're going to move that package into this plugins folder because again, I don't just like my root folder cluttered. So we'll allow that to rebuild. It's building down here. Then we are going to want to reorganize some of the starter assets geometry. First and foremost, the starter asset uses a procedural skybox. A procedural skybox cannot be easily converted into the Babylon's 6-sided skyboxes, so we'll change it to a skybox that is more compatible. Also, the original assets, starter assets, bake all the global illumination into light map probes, and we're going to need to change that to bake everything into light maps. So we're going to go and through to our environment, our art, and our models folder, and these are all of the models that are in the package. We're going to select all of the models. We're going to shift select all the models, and we're going to want all the models to be able to generate light map UVs. I checked those a couple times to make sure I unchecked them completely so I can make sure that they're all checked. Excuse me. And then we hit the apply button. And now if we go look, each and every one of these now has a light map UVs. Now we can go to the third person, load the playground. We're going to then, so we don't destroy our assets or write over, we're going to save as, and we'll come over to our project scenes folder and we're going to save it and overwrite the sample scene. Now we can go to the scene's lighting. We're going to change this to our new default lighting, and all of our settings are the same, so we can clear this out. Now we're going to, I'm going to link up with the main camera, so I'm going to choose the main camera, and we're going to align the view to the selected. So now we have our same main view. We are going to take on the inspector, we'll need to change the light map render, so we're going to type in renderer. That'll give us all the renders that are in the scene. This is our actual armature, so we don't really need to select that one. But all of these boxes, everything in the scene, these are disabled. We're going to want to select those and change its receive global illumination from light probe to light maps. We'll come down, find the rest of them, select them, change it from light maps to, or light probes to light maps. Now that builds out the scene for us, and in our lighting, we can now bake our lighting. It's also enable our scene exporter. So that brings up all of our export options. We're going to dock that over here. And now in our project, we need to npm install so our script environment works. So we'll take assets, we'll open C# project. In our C# project, we're going to just control tilde to get to the root, and we're going to npm install. That does the npm install. Now we normally are going to have to restart the editor to force the editor to rediscover its TypeScript environment, where node modules are and where TypeScript is. An easier way is just to force the editor to rebuild itself. So it's recompiling down here. When it rebuilds itself, it will detect the changes that we made from our npm install. So when it's done, as we see over here, give it a second. Let it build. It's taking a bit longer to build this time. Okie dokie. Still waiting. Still spinning down here. It must be going through rebuilding all of the script files for the assets we just added. Made it take a little bit longer. Hopefully it finishes up here soon. I'm running out of time for this video. There it goes. Now finally loaded, and it detected our script components there. So we can now verify that we have our lighting, and I am going to just make sure that my project output folder is clean. And now we will set the hosting options for the play button. Now we'll run it, build it. As you can see, now we have all of our nice lighting baked into the scene. We have all of our environmental lighting settings like the skybox, the fog. So when we hit our preview button, that will load our sample scene. And you will notice that the skybox is not set. You can still get some of the fog, but our skybox and our baked shadows are gone. So what we're going to want to do, or not there. So what we're going to want to do is pop back over here. We'll come into our lighting. We will go into our environment. We will change this to use a default skybox. And we will delete that one. We'll use the skybox. We'll set a color, make it a little bit grayer. 180, 180, 180. And now we will clear that out and hit generate lighting. That's going to bake our light for us. While our light bakes, it's going to take a few seconds. I'm on the GPU right here. While our light bakes, we will restart and come back with the next video and see our baked lighting and get into some Pro Tools. So I'll see you in a bit.